request Mr. V.G Kannan to talk more about this. Mr. V.G Kannan joining us on the phone line right here to talk about this saga. Mr. Kannan, is it a moment of deja vu for you, for the banks? Is this headed the Kingfisher way? Till yesterday, Jet Airways had about 6 or 7 planes in the air. They're dangerously close to temporarily shutting down at a time when bids have been invited. Not a single binding bid has been received as yet. 9,000 crore rupees in exposure, 23,000 employees, salary is not being paid. It's a big deja vu, a serious threat of India losing its second big brand of an airline.
It is very sad that a big airline like Jet Airways has been asked to shut down, but I think the writing was on the wall unless the funding had come in time. And even if the funding comes, there has to be a very clear plan as to how to survive and how to see that the operations are viable. And here, all the stakeholders, be it the lessors, be it the staff, be it the management, be it the OMC, all of them have to pitch in, come with some viable solution, and see that the holding on operations can continue for a few more days. And in case the holding on operations continue for some more days, then the value for the particular airline also will go up. And as anticipated, the EOI was also supposed to be only an EOI. Cannot be a binding bid. It's only an expression.
There, Mr. Kannan, I'm going to interrupt you there. Mr. Kannan, I'm going to interrupt you there and ask them one of the most uncomfortable questions that needs to be asked of the bankers in question. Are you disappointed at how SBI and PNB in particular have managed this crisis? I think you saying the writing is on the wall. Wasn't the writing on the wall back in October? That's when PNB had all the shares of Anita and Naresh Goyal in a disposable undertaking. What were the banks doing back in October? Why were they entertaining Naresh Goyal so much when the existing equity partners said it's not possible? Back in October, it was very clear which way Jet Airways was headed. Aren't the employees paying for what the bankers chose not to do back in October and chose not to do literally till 10 days before the crucial verdict of the Supreme Court on Feb 12 circular? Isn't that something we need to talk about, how the bankers didn't act fast enough?
As regards what you said about October, I think the discussion started trying to find out whether the existing promoters, including Etihad and Goyal, would have continued with some infusion. There were some indications that they would be coming with some infusion. Bankers would be asked to put in some money and then we'll carry on. Only sometime in January, if I'm not mistaken, finally the Etihad seemed to have actually backed out and said that we will not be participating when the things started worsening. And thereafter, in February onwards, we started having what is called the number of aircraft being taken out on being grounded. So those are the times, till the such time, actually, not many believed actually that it will come down. But the writing on the wall has been only for the last 2-3 months, where one by one, once the the aircraft which are on lease are grounded, those are the first signs that it's going to be in trouble, unless immediately it has been stopped. Even now, because they got one of the best staff, they have got pretty good arrangements, they got fantastic landing slots, and both here and abroad. I think they have got good connections. In case they are in a position to work out some system for 3 to 4 months of holding on operations, then I think that is a way forward. Otherwise, it can be a major problem.
I'm going to ask my producers to show you our viewers the share price of other aviation stocks. Let's bring up a SpiceJet. You'll see how SpiceJet is flying high in trade. It's perhaps the markets believe that SpiceJet gets chance to gain, whether it's in slots, whether it's in landing rights, whether it could even be the aircraft of Jet Airways. So you've got SpiceJet higher by 6%. Look at the activity. So Jet sells almost the same time you see SpiceJet higher. In fact, even Interglobe that owns Indigo is flying higher in trade. Sriram Subramanian, come in over here. One royal mess back in the middle of elections. Passengers stranded in thousands across the country and in Europe where Jet has operations. You've got airfares that are skyrocketing, banks having exposure to nearly 9,000 crore rupees, Jet facing the threat of a temporary shutdown because that's exactly where it's come down to. It's been managed very badly. What were the banks doing back in October, in September? Wasn't the writing on the wall then? Who's going to question the banks? Who's going to hold them accountable when they had collateral? What's the point of holding collateral if you're not going to act on it? Sriram Subramanian, this question was for you. What is the bank? What were the banks doing for all of these months? What was the point of having that collateral if they were never going to act on it? Once again, we see the banks perhaps not acting as fast as they should have, the speed element missing.
Definitely. I think this is a whole mess created by the interplay between giving a long rope to Naresh Goyal, I think. I mean, they thought that Naresh Goyal would work some magic and sort of rescue the airline. And so the banks did not act decisively when they had to. And now also when they have promised some infusion of funds, it's not clear why they are holding out. And at the end of the day, it is a lemon. And so the new investor who is going to come knows that it's a lemon. So the amount of due diligence that they would like to do is much, much higher. So from that perspective, it's not clear as to whether, the Rescue Act can be done in such a fast manner as banks hope to do, or without infusing any funds. So I think the best case is for Naresh Goyal to step down or be out of management and out of the board and out of even the equity holding. And for banks to sort of either push it to IBC, or since they have not chosen to do it, or at least then infuse some funds for at least keeping this one going till they find some investor. If there is confidence that they will find an investor, at least they should operate in a lights on mode.
Okay, with that, I'm going to thank both of you gentlemen for joining us. This is one big mess. I don't know what the plan of action seems to be. With all that's going on, will we even see a very serious bidder who's going to submit a binding bid? It's all well and good to get expression of interest as long as it's not binding in